So what I will do now is I will enter the box mode again, and I will look from above, and now I'm gonna make some of these lines curve a bit towards the middle, and I can start with selecting a couple of surfaces here and move them simultaneously. And you can always, if you move something, you can always press Ctrl Z and undo. So that's an important thing to keep in mind, that don't just continue. If you realize that, oh, this was wrong, this was a wrong selection, press Ctrl C and just Ctrl Z and just remake your selection or what you want to do. But in this case, I think this is a good idea, I hope. Yeah, let's start with that, and we're gonna make some adjustments. And of course, you can still go a step back if you click this undo edit form. You can undo a lot of steps in Fusion. I don't know how many steps it saves, but it's a lot. So that's really useful, because as you can see, this is a lot. This is a lot trial and error. So it's a lot of going back and forth. And in my projects, I usually end up going back to these sculpted forms a lot of times, changing small details that I could not see when I was working in the sculpting environment, but I see later on in the process. So I go back and change things here and there. So now we have sort of a rounded thing going on here. Let's see how it looks. It was not a big adjustment, so I'm not expecting it to have a huge impact. Maybe it did a little bit, but yeah, not much. But this is not meant to be a perfectionist tutorial. So let's use this shape that we have right now. So what I will do at this point is I will click Finish Form, and if there is no errors, this creates a body, or as a surface. It's not really a body, it's a surface. So yeah, but it's called body anyway. So what and this is just a surface, and there are a few ways that you can do with the surface. I can show you here. You can create thicken. You can create a thickness. So let's say we want it to be 1 millimeter thick, and we want to be able to print it. So now we have a part that is 1 millimeter thick. But the thing is, there's another method I like better when I'm doing a complete body like this. So let's click Ctrl Z, and let's go into the patch tool. And what we can do now is we can create a sketch, and we place it on the horizontal plane, and I click L for line, or you can click the button here, and I draw it longer than the body I have here, and I will explain in a bit why. click Stop Sketch, and I click the line, and then I click Extrude, because I'm making a surface, and I draw it past the other shape, so it should be both longer and higher, and I will show you what I'm gonna do with it. And also I will make another one. I will go back to the actual drawing because it's in the same plane, so I don't have to make a new sketch. I forgot to do a line here as well. And now you can see that the sketch is not visible. That's because when you do something with the sketch, an extrude or something, Fusion automatically deselects the visual preference for the sketch. So we need to go in and click it again so we can see it. Now we will extrude this line as well. The height is not important as long as it goes past, because what we're gonna do now, or we need, we need one more. We need one more surface. Let's do another sketch. Let's do it in this plane. And line tool. Like that. Click extrude. Like that. So now we're gonna trim these. So click modify and trim. And the trim tool is the shape we made. And after you click that once, you click the one you want to remove something from. And Fusion then automatically shows in red what it will remove. And also if there's an error, if it can't figure out what to do with the surfaces, it will not highlight. But this seems to work okay. So let's trim. Now here it seems to be a problem. That might be that our shape doesn't go down far enough, so Fusion cannot sense where we want to cut this. So what we'll do then is we'll go back to the shape and we will right click and edit, and I will double click the whole line in the bottom, and I will click the edit, and I will pull it down just slightly, and I could actually see there. Let's click Ctrl Z and zoom in, and we can actually see that it's not extending down far enough. And that probably came because I flattened the line when I were messing around with the front. So let's pull it down, and we'll actually pull it past the line here. We're gonna cut it anyway, so it's just important to make sure that it extends far enough. So then we click Finish Form, and if you're doing a big project and you go back and you edit, you will get a lot of errors. So it can be quite a struggle. So let's go back into the patch tool and trim, and again we use that as a tool, and yeah, now you can select it. Perfect. And trim again, and we trim that one, and trim again, and now we use this one as a tool. Sometimes it's not really super obvious what's the tool and what's the receiving end of this process. So you might just want to try it out It's just a step back with Ctrl Z until you're happy. So let's trim the last one. So there we are. And now to make this a completely solid, because now we have a lot of surfaces here and it's still hollow and they're not stitched together, so we will stitch them. And if you have all of them like this, you can just mark all of them and you can click stitch and it will highlight all the edges green, and click OK. And if you've done this right, you will end up with a completely solid body. And what we will go ahead now and do is we will go back to the model view and we will mirror this. There we have it. Now you can actually mirror this in the sculpting environment, and there are some benefits to that, because now if we did not do the shaping here right, we could end up with a sharp edge here in the middle. But if you were to extend it, if you were to do the mirroring in the sculpting environment, then you will be sure to have a rounded surface here, not an edge. But this seems to be good enough. So now we have two bodies also, so we will merge them. So we click the combine tool. Oh, and now this shows us a small problem. We actually have a slight gap between them. Let's actually see if there might be a possibility we can do this mirroring actually in the patch tool. I'm going to see if we can. So let's see if we unclick the center surface. I'm going to try. I've not done this before, so let's see if we can mirror these before we stitch. And now if we select all of them and stitch. Yeah, it worked. Now we have a complete body. So as you can see, there's always several ways of doing things. This could be done in the normal modeling environment, it could be done in the sculpting, and it could obviously be done in the patch environment as well. So there's always different methods. So it's a matter of just trying them out. So let's extend this further back, and because the shape is exactly the same, we can just click the surface and click extrude. And then we're using the shape we've already done as a tool, as a template. So what did we have? 137.5 to be really picky. And why can we not click OK? That's weird. That was really weird. Did I click a comma or something? Let's see. 37. Yeah, I must have had an extra dot or something. Because I found that actually this is a really nice thing I like that Autodesk did. They actually, for us in at least Northern Europe that uses a comma instead of a dot, you can actually use a comma and Fusion understands what we want to do. So that's really nice. I like it. But the usual error is that you write something dots yada yada, and you have already had a dot there, so there's two dots. That will make an error. That was probably what I did. So now we have our upper shape. We can try to round this lower edge because we have a really sharp edge here. Let's try to round that one. Let's select the other one as well. Here you can run into errors if you have a complex shape and you have some really tight corners somewhere. You will get errors, so be prepared for that. There we are. Now what we can do, and this is an important step, we want to hollow this out and make a shell. And I usually like to have around between 1 and 2 millimeter thickness if I'm doing something for the OS Railway project. So let's make this 1 millimeter. And that did not work. That's weird. That's actually really weird. It probably has to do something with the front here. No, but obviously it only had to do with my selection in some way. You can always, if you deselect and you just press a tool and then you press somewhere, you can make sure that you did not have a weird selection of some kind. Yeah, this is super weird. Hey, it looked like I had it there for a moment. Let's just see what it does if we click OK. Yep, that's not really what we want. So this is a usual thing when you're working on projects. So oh, that does not work. So what we're gonna try to do is we can do this several ways. Either we can go back to the sculpting and we can see what it actually is that is causing this. We can also try to see if this rounded edge might be the problem. Let's start here. That's really weird. Oh, it might. Now I understand. You can actually choose either complete bodies or you can choose faces. So now we know what it is. Fusion thought I wanted to just choose a face. So you click here, click in the tree, and that chooses the entire body. Now it will work. I hope. There we have it. So we can click inspect and section analysis. Um, is a really nice tool, because then you can see what's going on. Now you can see that we actually have a hollow body here. And you can unclick analysis, and then if you want to click later, if you want to see later on in the process, you can click again. And you can also edit. You can edit your section analysis, and you can pull it back and forth like this. So it's a really nice tool if you have a complex shape. You can actually even have it on when you're doing a sketch if you want to follow a curve inside something or see what's going on. So it's really helpful. So let's make some windows. So we make a sketch from the side, and now we can actually unclick the body. Let's see how it follows the curve. I think it follows quite okay, given the fact that it was almost impossible to see see the lines. So let's try to draw. I click L. I will do this kind of quick and dirty now, because it's getting kind of late. Now this one, the tangent arc is nice to know, because if you click here, the line here, it will always start flush with the line. So it's really useful. And also, as you can see, some tools they are still active and some are not. So and here you can see that now when I'm dragging here, it drags things around and it messes up. So what we need to do is we need to define some constraints. We need to enter some dimensions. So I click D. I want to fix this point here. Most of the problems in Fusion projects are due to the fact that there's a lot of loose lines, and things are not constrained enough. You think lines are aligned, but they're not. So you will end up with a lot of issues. Now I can actually pull this line back, and it will change the radius. And of course, this is a kind of rough tool. If we want more advanced shapes, we can of course use other tools, but this does good enough for me right now. So here there were some kind of thing going on. Let's try this and see how it looks. Now we can highlight our body again, and we can extrude this, and we want it to extrude symmetrically, so we get these windows on both sides. And of course, as you understand, you cannot do these big windows. You cannot print that, so we need more frames. But what we'll do this anyway right now to see how it looks, to see if we're on track. Let's deselect the canvas and see. That front window looks weird. Let's look at the pictures and see how it looks. Yeah, here we can see we have smaller windows. We also have a door there, but not on the other side, obviously. No, there is a door there. Ah, now we know. Now I know. It was the door that was the thing going on there in the window. So what we can do now is we can go back and we can enter some frames, and you can do it like this as squares. Uh, and I click D for dimension, and I start from a constrained point here. So let's make it 30, 5, 30. You can do there are more advanced ways of doing this. You can enter variables if you know you're gonna repeat some dimension. Oh, I already had that one constrained. You can choose a letter, for example, like A would be 5 here. And oh, no, I did that wrong. Let's delete that one. Or I think I did it wrong anyway. This is funny. Let's click Ctrl Z and let's enter that one. Now I know what I did. One line actually went past the other one. Now, oh, that's weird. There are some really weird things. Like this selection tool, I don't know actually how to change it, but anyway. I'm gonna remove this one. I don't need it. Now, I mean, of course, if you had scale now, you would look exactly at how many windows there are supposed to be and stuff like that, but you get that, so. Yeah, so how thick should the door be? Or wide, I mean. Yeah, 15. And now to make the extrude care about these new things we did, we double click the extrude and we deselect the new things we added.